guys, welcome back to the channel. It is Sarah or Failed Criminal, whichever you prefer. And guys, why are there used AP jumper skirts that retailed for $200 going for $900 now? Let's talk about that. I go on Lace Market pretty frequently. I'm broke. I'm on a no buy. I have been on a no buy since like August. And I have a genuine question. Why are we selling AP jumper skirts for like 3 times what it originally retailed for? And you know, this is a really hard discussion because some things do gain value over time, you know, like trading cards or figurines, you know, they gain value over time. But I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I have to be real with you guys. We need to be real with each other. We need to have this discussion. Your stained angelic pretty jumper skirt is rare, but it is also stained and is missing items and is ripped. Don't f***ing sell it for $600 over retail. I feel like I'm going crazy. I feel like I'm going insane. I genuinely do not know how the market got this bad. So just a little bit of a backstory. I joined Lolita Fashion in 2020, late 2020, around August 25th. That is when I bought my first piece. Got it around September 3rd. That was my first Lolita coordinate, showing it on screen right there. And, you know, Lolita was a lot more affordable. I was a broke ass, like fresh out of high school kid living in an apartment with a roommate and everything, and it was tough, and I still was able to afford Lolita. I actually got the entire Magic Princess one-piece set for like $350 total. That's not how much it goes for anymore, and it's batshit insane to me. How did we go from Bodyline being like 15 bucks in 2020 to it being like 60 in 2020? What is it, 2026 now? Like it drives me up the wall. Like I genuinely, what is in the water? What is happening? I just want to make it clear, there is structure to this video. We are going to get on with it. But I want to make it clear, if your dress is like new with tags, it's the full set and everything, sure, charge above market value, but that's not what the majority of these dresses are. They have been worn, they have stains, they have rips, they have alterations, they have tears, loose threads, and I don't understand why you think your dress that you have worn like 20 times is in like brand new condition. Why? Why? I'm gonna have a meltdown, dude. I'm gonna tweet this out. Like it did not used to be this bad. And to all of the Lolitas getting in like 2026, 2025, all the Lolitas who are new from that, don't buy this. Don't buy it. Like the more that you buy from scalpers and people who overprice this the worse it's gonna get. So someone, I've had this exact thought process. Ready? Let's fucking talk about it. Someone sells a dress for $600. It retailed for like $150, $200. Someone sees that who has the exact same dress and they're getting ready to sell it. They go, oh goodness. They go, well, actually, someone sold it for $600, so why don't I sell mine for $600? That makes sense. So they sell theirs for $600, and that keeps happening over and over and over again. This is a cycle. This is a cycle that will never end if we just keep buying from scalpers. You know, I'm not naming names, but you know who I'm talking about. And unless we actually do something, well, lack of doing something, it's not gonna change. The market isn't gonna change. It's gonna keep being fucking crazy. Like there are Milky Chan pieces. There was a muffler I saw that was used going for $450. Why? let's get on with actually like the script of the video. Basically what's happening is there are a couple things happening, right? There are a couple things happening. The first thing is scalpers buying specifically to resell it. And this happens, you know, with angelic pretty releases. This happens with scalpers buying these releases from popular brands specifically to resell. I have seen a piece, for example, I forget the name of that piece. I'll try and find it, but there was a really popular release. Oh, it was like decoration cakes or whatever from Angelic Pretty. And I'm not even joking, it released in Japan, and then the next day, not even a full 24 hours later, probably like 18, it was listed on, I think it was Frill. It was either Frill or Mercari for like 3 times the price. The dress went for $300. It was being sold for like $1,400. And it's a problem. It's a problem because Lolitas who are like actually in the fashion, who actually give a and want to wear these clothes and are like excited for the releases and stuff, they can't buy it because people have bots set up to buy this as soon as it releases, and then they go and sell it for an exorbitant price, and then, like I said just a minute ago, people buy that shit for an exorbitant price, and the cycle continues. Then there is also the issue of non-Lolitas who are like just now getting into the fashion or just looking inward. They think Lolita's rare, you know, because it's a drop basis, if that makes sense. It's like a release by release basis. You know, Sugary Carnival, it didn't have a re-release for like a couple of years, so it started getting really expensive on the secondhand market, for example. And people see a piece that hasn't been re-released in a while and they go, oh, that must be rare. Or it's just titled rare, you know. There's certain sellers that do that, certain sellers where they'll put rare with like asterisks by it, and it's not actually rare. I actually, I almost got into an argument. I really wanted to get into an argument with this person. They listed an Alice and the Pirates piece as rare, and they didn't even know what the piece name was. They didn't even know like the release, they didn't know the piece name, they didn't know what the dress was. They just listed it rare Alice and the Pirates red dress. How is it rare? How is it rare? And then I found the name of the dress. And I don't know if I DM'd them or commented, but they changed the name. They still kept rare, and I looked on Lace Market, and there were like 20 of them sold over the span of like 2 years. That's not rare. That's not rare. In Lolita terms, that is not rare. And then there's also people inflating the prices of dresses because of like the hype behind them. Like, for example, you guys remember the Cat's Tea Party craze? Yeah, I remember that. Sugary Carnival craze, Milky Planet. You know, I've been around for long enough to know that people are inflating the prices of dresses because there's a lot of demand for them. And you know, that's fine. It's fine to do that. It's fine to inflate your prices, maybe a little bit because like there's a lot of demand for it. But selling a dress, I'm sorry I keep saying this, but selling a dress that originally retailed for like $300 for $1,400 is fucking insane. You are a weirdo and you are a scalper. Scalper, scalper, scalper. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about that, huh? Scalper, scalper, scalper. God, I'm so fucking sick of this shit. And then there's also an issue with people cross-posting items to like different platforms where it'll be like on Lace Market, it'll be like $500, and then on Depop, it'll be like $700. And it's like, why are you? But I think it's crazy that people will list something on Lace Market for like $200 less than other websites, or vice versa. I think it's weird. I think you're weird. I think you're weird. Sorry. And I just want to clarify, not all high prices are scalping. You know, there are dresses that released for a lot of money, and you're adding like $100 on top of that. That's fine. You know, that's not the issue. Scalping is the issue, where people are buying for cheap and selling it to other people for expensive. There are a couple sellers on Lace Market who do this. Sorry, we're going in circles, man. But there's a couple sellers who do this on Lace Market, and I remember someone recently, very recently, commented, hey, can I get this dress for this price? Because I saw you bought it off of Closet Child 2 weeks ago for this price. And it was like $200 less. And it was like a very not well-known release that wasn't like super popular. And I think that person was completely valid. I think we need to be calling these people out. I'm not gonna lie, that's my opinion. I think we need to be calling these people out and not buying from them. And making it very clear to new Lolitas that buying from these people is not a good thing. Like they are, to the definition, you guys know who I'm talking about. I'm not gonna name names, but you know who I'm talking about. They sell for hella expensive prices just because they know people will buy them because they're desperate enough. Lace Market used to be very community based, and now it's just like another one of those sales sites where it's completely unchecked, where there are people who just sell shit for hella expensive, have like hundreds of listings, and nothing happens. You know, there used to be a lot of social pressure about price gouging, and that social pressure isn't there anymore. That shunning whenever people would like scalp stuff, that's not there anymore. And it's very odd to see the community not care anymore. It's very odd. You know, it very much is just a reseller platform. Not like resellers and like, hey, you know, this dress I bought firsthand. It's a reselling platform for people who don't give a fuck about the fashion and are looking to make a quick buck. Because let's be real, Lolita fashion, you can make a lot of money if you buy these releases for cheap and sell them for expensive. You can make a lot of money doing that. And I think it's very scummy, and I think that we should be doing something about it instead of just letting it fucking happen. You know, one thing I do want to mention is there is a rule on Lace Market where you are not allowed to list more than, I think it's either 2 or 4 off-brand items, including Taobao. So if you list more than that, you risk getting banned. If you like continually list more than that, you risk getting banned. And meanwhile, there are people who have 200 angelic pretty listings from like recent releases or really old, hard to find releases, and nothing happens to them. And I understand there's like nuance, like how do we take care of that while having people who have like big wardrobe sell-offs able to sell their shit. And I think the very simple answer is just looking at the account, like actually moderating the website. I feel like there's not a lot of moderation on that website. And I'm sorry, I feel like I'm coming for you guys, and I'm really just trying to give you guys constructive criticism. Obviously, I'm frustrated because I've been watching this happen, progressively getting worse, for 6 years now. It's frustrating. It's frustrating because there used to be a lot of backlash whenever people would do that, and that's how the site was moderated. It wasn't really moderated by the moderators, it was done more so by people, by Lolitas who were buying and selling stuff. And it's not like that anymore. And I think my solution to that would be just paying attention to people's account. You know, like if they have, you know, 200, there are legitimately people on Lace Market right now with like 150 to 200 items listed from really rare, really expensive releases that are scalping them. And I think if you like pay attention to the seller and you see exactly what they're selling, when they're selling it, and the condition they're in, like most of these sellers are selling new with tag stuff. And it's very evident that they are scalpers. And I understand it's very difficult to make rules that apply to scalpers and not to people who are just selling off their wardrobe, but something has to be done. We can't keep going in this direction. It is just going to end terribly, and Sugary Carnival from the original release is going to sell for $1,000. Like, we can't keep going in this direction. It's not sustainable. So I am editing, and I wanted to make it very clear about what I really did think about like the constructive criticism that I can give to Lace Market. Also, not an EGL. Sorry, I'm editing, and I wanted to be comfy. Sorry, y'all. But I wanted to say that I really think the site lacks proper moderation. I think that the moderation that happens is only whenever people send in reports, and I think that there needs to be more active moderation. I don't even know like who the moderators are. I've never seen them actually like do their job. I don't know. I don't know anything about them. So maybe they are there, maybe they are doing their job and everything, but I genuinely do not know. I do not know. And maybe it's not my place to comment on that because I haven't run a website as big and as used as Lace Market. And you know, I do want to say I am very appreciative of the fact that the website is free. There's no like fees for uploading stuff and selling stuff. I think that's very awesome. And I think that's perfect for a community like EGL. But I think there needs to be more active moderation, and there needs to be rules made specifically to protect against scalpers. It is a very genuine issue that is in the community. Scalpers and overpricing. It is a very genuine issue that is happening in the community, and it's going to lead to the downfall and degradation of Lolita fashion as a whole, in my opinion. And, you know, I've only been in this fashion for 6 years. There's people who's been in this fashion for like 12, 20. I've met someone who's been in the fashion for 20 years. But I really do think that the degradation of Lolita fashion is going to happen if we don't change things on, you know, websites that are mainly for EGL. And I think the best place to start would just be by moderating more and, getting together with the mod team and figuring out a way to stop specifically scalpers, but keep people who have big wardrobes and they're selling it off, you know, unpenalized. And again, that's going to be really hard, but that's also not my job. I don't work for the website. I'm just giving my own criticism. So I do want to make it very clear. I appreciate Lace Market, everything that Lace Market has done. I've sold stuff on there and the community is awesome, but there is that issue of scalpers just feeling at home there. You know, like I said, there's people who have 200 plus listings. I think the highest I saw was 300 of angelic pretty new with tags, rare, and it's like, it's so obvious. It's so obvious. And it sucks because people who come onto the website for the first time think that this stuff is worth that much. And that's where the issue kind of continues on, is people who are desperate or don't know the actual worth of the items. So, you know, it's like a multi-part issue, like people not knowing the price of the items, people being desperate, people just wanting to complete a set. You know, it's a multifaceted issue. And again, it's not my place to solve it. You know, I mean, if you want to make me a moderator, I'm just joking. But yeah, I think that Lace Market needs to do a little bit of work. But I do appreciate everything they've done. They've been an amazing pillar in the EGL community for, I think they started in late 2013, early 2014. Hands off to you guys for paying the server bills and everything. You guys are awesome. But I do think you guys have a little bit of work to do. So yeah, anyways, back to the main part of the video, and hopefully you won't see me in normal clothes again. I'm wearing my cat shirt. So yeah, anyways, bye. Depop has a algorithm that kind of like rewards people for like popular and like exciting aesthetics. So people will often sell Lolita under terms like coquette. You know, I've seen that, you know, for like classic Lolita and like country, and you know, just like cute core or kawaii aesthetic, like listing it as stuff like that. And oftentimes the people who are selling this stuff aren't even a part of the community. Just like the people on Lace Market who do this, they just aren't even a part of the community. They go on like Mercari Japan and buy this and then sell it for like $500 extra. Like for example, there's like this Lolita, bodyline petticoat that is like colorful, and it's very popular in the, what's the name? Fairy K community. And I see people reselling it for $150 and it sells. Why are you people buying it at this price? And it's just very odd, like the Y2K coquette, you know, and the buyers of this stuff are often very inexperienced and haven't been pointed to the correct directions and correct channels for buying Lolita fashion at reasonable prices, and they're just inexperienced in general. And it's very unfair that people are taking advantage of new Lolitas in this way. It is very disheartening. Or, you know, I've seen people selling the Melty Ribbon Chocolate, I think that's the release, for thousands of dollars, and I don't get it. I genuinely do not understand. I do not understand. So prices are high. We understand that. That's the basis of this video. And there are very valid reasons for prices being high. You know, limited releases, like if it's a Japan exclusive or a China exclusive. I'm actually looking, if anyone has this and wants to sell it, I don't know. I'm looking for the Final Fantasy XIV release from Alice and the Pirates. And that was a China exclusive, and I know that if I find it, it's going to be ridiculously priced. And that's kind of understandable, you know? Like, it's a Chinese release only, and you get my point. So, limited releases, prints that haven't been re-released in a long time, long time, if ever. There's also inflation in the United States. I don't know about other countries, but the United States is having insane inflation issues. And currency exchanges, you know, the dollar and yen are... The dollar is a little stronger than yen right now, and that changes things. And people are selling things based on condition as well. You know, things that are new with tags will go for a lot more than things that are stained or been worn a lot. Or the glitter print isn't glittery anymore. Like I said earlier, there are the issues of rare being considered valuable or desirable. That is not the case. And, you know, just because something doesn't get listed very often doesn't mean that it is, you know, subject to artificial inflation. So my suggestions on what we should do. I think we should talk about fair pricing. I think if someone is, if it's like obvious that someone bought something for like super duper cheap and then 2 weeks later is reselling it for like, you know, 50% markup, I think we should talk about that. I think we should have discussions with these people, and I think it should be more normalized to talk to people about, hey, I don't think it's right what you're doing. And I also want to encourage that we do like sell on like community only platforms. I feel like a lot of people who buy and sell Lolita on platforms like Depop or Mercari US they're not exactly in the community. And that's fine, you know, like if you leave the community and you're selling stuff, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people who have never, will never, and, you know, have no plans to be a part of the community buying and selling angelic pretty for a profit. I also think we should make it a lot clearer to people to look at Lolibrary for what it originally sold for, and we should look at what it sells for on Lace Market and what it used to sell for. I think that we should like be educating people on this stuff and teaching them that, yeah, you can look at Depop and stuff, or you can go to Lace Market and actually see what the market value is for this piece, like the original market value. But I think secondhand Lolita is kind of, it's a mess right now. We can admit that. And just a little disclaimer before I close off the video. If you're selling like something and you just want to make back what you originally bought it for, I think that's fine. Even if it includes like shipping and tariffs and stuff, I think that's fine. I think that it's okay. Also, it's getting darker outside, so my lighting is changing, and I apologize. I look kind of scary right now. But I think that if you're selling to make back what you paid, I think you're fine. It's fine. But if you're treating Lolita like it's an investment, that is the issue. That is what the problem is. And I think this culture that we have right now where we buy something and then sell it for like super high prices, I think it's weird. And I hate that we're kind of giving into this reseller culture that is so prevalent in communities like the Pokemon community. You know, we've seen what has happened to the Pokemon community. But I think that we should stop treating Lolita fashion like it's a stock market. I think we should just wear the clothes and sell them and be normal about it. That's my main point of the video. Just be normal. Be normal. My lighting is so bad, man. It got dark really fast. Just be normal. That's all that's to like round everything out. Just be normal. Be normal. So with all that being said, what are your guys' thoughts? I want to know. I'm genuinely curious. Like, am I going crazy? Like, I feel like I am. I feel like I am going crazy. But what are your guys' thoughts? Have you guys seen these like crazy latest listings on Lace Market and stuff, and one that I really do want to know from you guys, do you think that the prices of Lolita will ever come back down? Like for new Angelic Pretty and stuff, do you guys think that the prices will return to normal? I have my own opinions on that. I'm not going to share it, but I'm curious what you guys think. So anyways, thank you guys for listening to me rant for like a long time. I don't know how long this is going to be after I cut it, but right now I'm looking at 30 minutes. Thank you guys for watching this video. Obviously, I'm really frustrated and I'm glad that I could get this out in a healthy way and see if I'm not going crazy and just discuss this, because I think that it's something that doesn't get discussed enough in the community. And yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching and have a good day.